The Microfarm project models a new approach to university community partnerships. It began with community strategic planning.
The lateral benefits of the Mansfield Microfarm project in the north end of Mansfield included reusing a formerly vacant industrial site, which helped us to eliminate blight and increase property values in that area. It also is a crime reduction strategy, and we have found that all of those things have been extra benefit in addition to having fresh local food and economic opportunity in the middle of a food desert.
University researchers asked similar kinds of questions, arriving at the same place.
My name is Kip Curtis, and I'm an environmental historian who does applied work in urban agriculture and local food systems. Since January 2019, we've been partnered with Deanna West Torrance and NECIC to build a new kind of urban production system with intensive production sites, microfarms, and market access through crop coordination and aggregation, the Richland Grow-Op Cooperative. We brought crop training from Extension, and we brought subsidies for the first microfarms. We also brought a team of researchers seeking to understand the system itself and some of the impacts it might have on the surrounding communities. I'm bringing all of these wonderful people together because I'm interested in building the capacity for university community partnerships to address pressing contemporary issues, especially racial justice and environmental sustainability. As an environmental historian, I studied the human presence on Earth. As a U.S. historian, I study the long struggle for racial justice in the United States. The Microfarm project has allowed me to use what I know about past relationships between people and between people and nature in order to imagine a more sustainable and a more just future. As microfarming grows and spreads, we hope to transform agriculture by making it healthier, more local, and more secure. And we hope to address racial justice by creating access to real economic opportunities in the nation's underserved pockets of African American poverty.
Agricultural engineers like Fred Michel are developing new ways to capture nutrients from community-generated food scraps using composting.
Food production systems require added plant nutrients. The production of these fertility sources is costly and dependent on fossil fuels, as well as mining and transportation from remote locations. Ironically, these nutrients are available steps from urban farms in the form of food scraps and other organic wastes, but are currently mostly disposed of in landfills. The goal of our research is to explore ways to capture these nutrients and use them for urban agriculture systems in the form of composts. In our experiment, we have found that food scrap composts can provide all of the nutrients needed for healthy crop production in high tunnel systems. Ultimately, we hope to develop urban food systems where these plant nutrients are recycled and quantify the environmental and cost benefits relative to conventional food production systems.
Landscape planners like Forbes Lipschitz have developed innovative technologies to study the impacts on plant communities.
We've started collecting high-resolution imagery from each site at multiple stages in the growing season using a commercially available drone like the one you see here. Each flight includes both multispectral and color capture that will be used to analyze spatial changes in plant composition, density, and distribution over time. Through this research, we hope to better understand how the establishment of microfarms impacts the spatial and compositional structure of the productive landscape.
Social scientists like Mary Rodriguez are interested in the way this system influences household resiliency.
I'm a part of the social science research team for the Mansfield Project. My role is to investigate household resilience. This means I look at how capable a household is to bounce back from crisis. I look at a household's access to support services, the different assets that they can leverage in times of need, and how this then correlates to their household food security. This research allows us to see how to better support impoverished households through crisis and help them bounce back during those difficult times.
Researchers from the Kirwan Institute for the Study of Race and Ethnicity, like Glennon Sweeney, want to understand the landscape of food consumption decision-making.
Our health and food environment mapping is designed to achieve two goals. First, our participatory mapping helps us gain insight into the lived experience of food insecurity while also identifying additional barriers to healthy food access for North End residents. Second, our health and food environment map will provide any CIC with an interactive database, enabling them to target interventions at the neighborhood level to build a more resilient and healthy local economy and food system.
Urban planners like Kareem Usher are interested in the ways that food access and food culture interact.
Research has shown that lower-income, predominantly African American communities tend to have lower access to high-quality fruits and vegetables than do their white counterparts. The 2017 North End Community Economic Development Plan cited that United States Department of Agriculture had classified portions of Mansfield, Ohio's North End as a fresh food gap. Hello, I am Kareem Usher, an urban planner and one of the social scientists studying the effects the urban microfarms will have on access to healthy food for North End community residents during the COVID-19 pandemic. By understanding the objective and perceived components of healthy food access, we can propose and implement more effective community-level food initiatives with the ultimate goal of improving residents' health, quality of life, and lower healthcare costs for municipal and regional governments.
Rural sociologists like Jason Parker are trying to understand the effectiveness of training and to identify characteristics that make for a good future producer. Agricultural economists like Wu Yang Hu are helping us anticipate and measure the direct and indirect impacts that this production system will have in the community. But the most exciting part of this project has nothing to do with data gathering or peer review or technical terminology. It's the community of practice growing at the core. 10 new microfarm producers growing tons of food, all of it finding a market. Together, they formed the Richland Grow-Op in early 2019, a membership cooperative that allows them to coordinate their farms for a consistent and predictable output. And then we trained them to tend microfarms. With the coordination of the Microfarm project managers and training from OSU Extension, these individuals have become the first pioneer microfarmers in the United States.
In 2000, a policeman put a note on my front door and asked if they could do surveillance from my front window because there was the biggest drug house across the street from us. I asked the police officer in one of our conversations, I said, how do you know that I'm even somebody that you can trust? You know, you don't know me from anybody who just moved here. And he said, because you planted a garden, you have your flowers, you mow your grass, you have vegetables growing. So that little conversation planted the seed of what is the Grow Forth Urban Farm now. Communities can only change from the inside out. We are very firm believers that you need to live in a community if you truly hope to bring about change, but changing it can't be your only motivation. You need to love living there. You need to invest yourself in it. We just thought we need to do something to not just be. We wanted to make a difference.
Collateral benefits of the Mansfield Microfarm project in the north end of Mansfield included reusing a formerly vacant industrial site, which helped us to eliminate blight and increase property values in that area. It also is a crime reduction strategy, and we have found that all of those things have been extra benefit in addition to having fresh local food and economic opportunity in the middle of a food desert.
I believe we're going to be a heavy presence in the community. We're going to have more farmers, be bringing more food in. I think it's going to grow quite rapidly.
Getting younger kids the experience to grow their own food and possibly build their own entrepreneurship through that was a great idea, I thought. The food access and education, like I said, the entrepreneurship for North End residents is very important to help them to learn to sustain themselves.
We went from just being trainees to having high tunnels put up to planting, and it just, everything moves so quickly. I never thought we'd be where we are as quickly as we are. But it's all due to good people and a lot of brain work and a lot of planning and a lot of perseverance and determination. I would really like to see NECIC expand and put in more tunnels. I'd like to see them expand their farmers market, maybe do some more outside growing, maybe even put in an orchard. I would just, anything goes.
Kent Curtis was giving a walk around or a lecture about what was going on and seeing who wanted to be involved. I asked him how much time is this really going to take of mine, and he right away said a lot of time. And I thought, oh, my heart kind of dropped because I thought I wouldn't be able to help. But then as the lecture progressed, he mentioned how everyone working in this was working to obtain the greenhouses for their own business. From that, and that really inspired me, because I've always said, imagine what I could do if I had a greenhouse. Because I was more of a gardener than a farmer, but I've always been fascinated by growing. And the earth and I have a real close relationship, and I feel that it by me caring for it, it just produces over and over.
The potential that the project itself had to start a process in our community, because I'm a diehard Mansfielder. So to start the process of building our community up and breaking down barriers and just doing things right. Trying to integrate the students with getting work out in here and integrate it into their coursework so that they can walk away saying that they had experience already in their field when they get their degree, things like that, getting them into the community, just being a part of something rather than just sitting on the sidelines.
I knew that I could purchase a little piece of farmland, an acre or two or something like that, and I knew that I could do my own growing on that, and that was something that I wanted to do. But what made this particularly unique for me was the community piece of it, and that includes providing possible occupational training and developing people who may not otherwise have that opportunity. It involves improving the quality of the food, and as well as that having a positive environmental impact on the community. So it's just many pieces coming together that really made me excited about it, and took it to a completely different level than anything that I had considered before. I love the Mansfield community, and I've wanted to do something significant. And I suppose when you get to be my age, you start looking at legacy. Have I made a positive difference? And I think that's what I hope to do as a participant in this project and what we're creating here.
I've been a part of the project since about April of 2019, and very much enjoy my position here as the farmer. I got to see this whole thing kind of come together in the building stage. So the backside of planning and the whole idea coming together was kind of pre my employment here. And so it's been a real privilege and honor to really see everything get structured and built the way it is. And really love to see how we went from literally having nothing but flat ground to all these high tunnels, the raised beds, the soil, and having things actually growing inside the tunnels. What really intrigued me, that there's just an abundance of possibilities. It's really an endless pool of possibilities for Mansfield, Richland County, all the surrounding schools, anyone that's really interested in kind of getting back to our roots, to more of that grower's idealism, getting back to the farming, homesteading, and that self-sustainability.
What inspired me about the project when I came down and I kind of really heard what was going on is that the way that it wanted to give an opportunity for farmers and to kind of do something different in the community around urban farming, and it gave people an opportunity to be able to farm that didn't have a chance to farm before. I know, like I wanted to try to do a bunch of these things. I couldn't have been able to do it without us all coming together, and without the cooperative, and without the NECIC, and without OSU getting involved in things as well, and our community actually pitching in a big part of all of this. So I'm just very grateful for the opportunity that I've been able to have, and being able to take advantage of being able to do something different and something that's not happening here, and give people an opportunity to get involved as well.